Ladies and gentlemen, this is Watson Michael from Ceylon Institute of English and Leadership. And once again, we are honored to have Mark C. Crowley, international best-selling author whose mission is to fundamentally change how we lead people in workplaces around the globe. Also, he's a regular columnist for the Fast Company magazine and has been published in USA Today, Reuters, Forbes, Stanford, Social Innovation Review, the Huffington Post, Gallup, the Financial Times, CEO Magazine, and many more. Also, his book, which was released in 2022, was an Amazon #1 release and has been taught in 11 American universities, including the educational PhD program at the University of Massachusetts Global and at the University of Iowa's MBA program. Mark, welcome back. How are you doing?
It's so great to see you. Thank you for having me again. And I'm looking forward to this.
It's an absolute honor, Mark. You released a new book, The Power of Employee Wellbeing, Move Beyond Engagement to Build Flourishing Teams. I'm really happy to see you writing. You wrote another book. Actually, I'm very happy. So, what was the reason for you to name the book like that?
Well, the first thing I think is important is that we've been talking about employee engagement around the world being really low and how bad that is for companies. And
Mm,
then you have companies saying we need to focus on employee engagement and we need to do everything to improve employee engagement. And I saw a statistic from Gallup about a year ago.
mm,
And
okay.
it showed that employee engagement around the world hasn't gotten any better in the last 15 years. So all that we've been doing is talking about making engagement better. We've
Mm,
made no changes to our leadership, nothing. So when I saw that, I thought, well, this is a joke. Like we should stop talking
mm,
about this because no one ever really did anything to make it better. We didn't lead better. And I happened to see some research that showed that there was a direct connection, really impressive study coming out of Oxford
wow.
that showed that
Okay.
there's a direct connection between employee well-being and productivity, organizational success. And you can measure it much simpler. You can just ask people simple questions like, how did you feel at the end of this week? And depending upon how people grade themselves, whether they're very happy or very unhappy and everything in
Mm,
between, you can actually calibrate their performance. So, in other words, when well being is high, performance is high. When well being is
mm,
low, same thing, low performance.
yeah.
So, if it's as simple as that, we should be teaching managers how to elevate employee well being. And that's what the book is
Mhm.
about.
Wow. Okay. Super interesting. So this is a bit of a sensitive topic for some who have faced it. Okay, now some employees give over 100% and bring great results to the firm, but after that, the management or the shareholders decide to let go of that employee because that work is done, and someone junior or with lesser pay takes it from there. Now, this is really demotivating. What are your views on that?
Well, anything that you do that sends the message that people aren't valued or that there's a
Mm.
day coming when you're not going to be valued, or that
Hmm.
we don't want to pay you. So when we can find somebody less expensive, we're going to do that and we're going to let you go. They management tends to think that it only impacts the person that's being let go, right?
Hmm.
So somebody with gray hair comes in and the boss says, "Hey, we got to let you go because Watson makes less money, and so we're going to bring him in and he's going to take your job." Well, everybody that you're going to continue to work with, I may be gone, but everybody looks at that and they say, wait a minute, why are they doing that? He's really a talented guy. Just because he's getting older, you're going to let him go or making more money. So you're polluting the entire organization. So it's just selfish, it's unethical. And when
Yeah,
people lose trust in the organizations, you're not going to attract really good, talented people because nobody wants to work in a company like that.
definitely. Now with AI happening, and some call it a AI boom, do you think it will affect employee well-being?
Well, what I think is going to happen is that companies are going to make one of two choices. They're going to use AI to get rid of people, and that's not going to help well-being. It's not going to help the organization either because people aren't going to want to work in an organization where the whole strategy is to eliminate people. Why would you stick around in a company like that, right? But
Mm.
I don't know how often you're using ChatGPT or or any of the different versions of it, but AI can be very helpful. It's not really great, but it's good. And so if you can use it to accelerate the completion of a project, that's really great because that frees you up to do other things, right? Particularly
Yeah.
things that take time. So it all depends upon how we deploy it. If we use it to help people, it's going to elevate well-being because people are going to say, wow, I that would have taken me a couple of hours to do, but I can do that now in half the time because of the AI support. That's really satisfying. Now, if the company says, hey, we gave you a tool and it used to take you 2 hours, now it only takes you an hour. So we're going to give you two projects to get back the 2 hours that you would have been working on it, then
Mm.
you're not going to have an elevation of well-being, right? So
Yeah.
if we use the AI to elevate performance in a way that frees people up to be more creative, to have more thinking time, to more, then you're going to elevate well-being. But if you're using the tool and you're saying, okay, now you have a tool, we need you to do more, 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 you're defeating the whole purpose of it.
Mm. Quite interesting. Okay. So now, getting back to your book, The Power of Employee Wellbeing, can you elaborate uh, any chapter, probably your favorite chapter in the book?
So, like your children, you're not allowed to have favorites, right? But
Okay.
but but I will say that the most surprising thing that I learned in this whole process is that
Uh-huh.
the single greatest driver of employee well-being is belonging, having a
Mm.
sense that you fit well within a team and that the team likes you and respects you and wants to include you and that you have trust. And so and then not only that, but that you're accepted for who you are. So
Mm.
whatever your race is, whatever your nationality is, whatever your religion is, whatever your sexuality, whatever your appearance is, what
Mm.
state you come from, where you went to college or didn't go to college, accept me for being me. This is
Mm.
the greatest driver of well-being. And so what
Yeah.
that means is that leaders have to focus on making sure that the team is deliberately collaborating and cooperating, that you're not setting up systems where you and I are competing against each
Mm.
other, like the example you got a minute ago, where you take my job because you're younger, right, and less expensive, right? So
Yeah.
anything that you do that divides people will undermine belonging. Because
Mm.
if I feel threatened by you because you're younger and you're willing to work for a third less, am I going to help
Mm.
you? Am I going to support you? Am I going to want you on my team? No, because you're coming after me. You're going to threaten my livelihood. But if we work it out where the manager says you, Watson and Mark are on the same team and we want you to be partners, we want you to look out for each other. That's a healthier way
Mm.
of operating that elevates well-being.
Yeah. Definitely, because what you just reminds me sometime back, Steve Jobs, when he started Apple, he was sent away, and then when it was crashing, they brought him back. And
That's
when you
right.
said about when you said about ChatGPT, this guy sent Sam Altman out, and then they brought him back into the board, right?
That's
So
right.
yeah, it's interesting. Okay, yeah. So Uh, yeah. So, Mark, now can you let us know of a challenge you faced in the dog eat dog world and how you overcame it by having a high performing team?
Well, it all boiled down to a couple things. One is you want to
Mm,
make sure your audience knows that you don't have to manage people the way you're managed, assuming you're not managed well. You always have a
mm,
choice as to how you manage your people. So in financial services, which was a dog eat dog world where it was very
mm,
competitive and you were always being ranked against everybody else, what I did was I cared deeply about the people who worked for me. I supported them.
Mm.
I found out who they were and what they were, what they were trying to achieve through work. Do you want to be a CEO? Do you want to stay in this job? What do you want to learn? How do you like to be appreciated? Any growth opportunities that I can help you with, doing all those things, but also making sure people feel safe, they felt appreciated, that they felt like they belonged, even though I didn't understand that at the time. That's what I was doing. It was making people feel like they were a part of a special team. And all of that had the effect of elevating performance because people had all their needs met. So when I'm
Mm.
talking now about well-being, I was talking about well-being 12 years ago when Lead from the Heart first came out. I was just calling it by Lead from the Heart by caring and really, almost loving your people while at the
Yeah.
same time setting high expectations that they have to perform. So it's people hear it and they go, "Oh, that sounds really soft or spiritual or religious." And I'm like, we're really just saying, make sure that this is a win-win. Support your people so that they get
Yeah.
their needs met. And then they're going to want to be able, and they are able to meet the goals that you're setting out for them. So traditionally in business, it's, hey, if you do good, we'll pay you. If you don't do good, we're going to get rid of you. And that doesn't really motivate people for very long because people are always fearful that they're going to get let go. So my
Mm.
attitude was, hey, I'm going to support you in every possible way so that you feel safe and you feel supported and you know that I have your back and I care about you. And all I'm going to ask you to do is just meet your goals. Just do what you're being asked to do in the first place. And people were
Yeah.
willing to do that and more because they were getting something from me that they couldn't get anywhere else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you need to care about your employees and your colleagues. I mean, that's the unique thing about you, Mark. Okay, I mean, how you wrote the book and your chapters in Lead from the Heart. Okay, you thought about it and you faced so much of challenges, but you bring great leadership. Okay, so that's something
Thank you.
something phenomenal. Okay,
Thank you.
so yeah, sure. So how will this book help to create change? The power of employee well-being.
I think what I'm saying is number one, stop
Mm-hmm.
talking about employee engagement because you never were sincere about it. You never did anything really to make a difference, to make the numbers get better. So
Mm.
all you're going to do is survey people and then do nothing with the feedback. Stop that. So I'm saying we've had enough of that. People are annoyed by it and you're not doing anything with it anyway. So let's stop pretending. So that's one. Number two is what I'm saying is that if you understand that well-being drives performance, then your next question is how do I do that? How do I
Mm.
actually elevate employee well-being? Because if we've never focused on it before, then managers are going to go, well, it sounds good, but I don't know what to do. So the book teaches managers all the different practices that I know elevate well-being and science proves elevates well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's two. So we're number one, stopping engagement. Number two, we're committing to well-being and we're teaching managers how to do it. The third aspect of this is that with employee engagement, companies surveyed people twice a year and they
Wow.
overcomplicated it. They added a whole bunch of questions. So by the time you got the results, you had, like a mound of data and nobody could do
Mm.
anything with it, right? And
Yeah.
so what I'm saying is do pulse surveys. Ask
Mm.
people one question or two questions every couple of weeks and then find out what the feedback is, get together with management, talk about the feedback, go back to your employees, tell them this is what we heard and this is what we can do about it. We can't
Mm.
fix everything. Everybody said we want more money. Okay, we
Yeah.
understand you want more money. Can't give you more money, but we heard you.
Yeah.
I'm making an example. But the idea is that you can do a lot of things. Like if you go to them and you say, how is Mark to work for? On a scale of 1 to 5. Well, if
Mm.
I get low scores, instantaneously, my manager sees that and can come to me and say, your people don't like working for you, Mark. What are you going to do? you're going to have to change. You're going to have to get better because we
Mm,
need their well-being and you're undermining it. So you're going to have to change and get better and become more caring and supportive, or you can't stay in that job. So all of a sudden, to answer your question, we now have companies that are challenging managers to win the hearts of their people. Because if the
mm,
people aren't happy, that manager can't stay in that job for very long. That's going to be a major, major change.
definitely. Yeah. All right. So, Mark, any final message you'd like to give our viewers and listeners out there?
I think that everything that I'm talking about is really intuitive. It's just that we've never thought it was important. We thought
Mm,
we need to whip people, like you don't want to work, so I have to be harsh on you and I have to threaten
mm,
you. And if you don't do a good job, and it's this kind of attitude. And that's work. That's where, that's how we get people producing, right? I'm the boss.
mm,
And I'm saying all of that is complete nonsense. All that does is create fear. Fear shuts down people's creativity. Shuts down their interest in contributing at a higher level. So you'll get performance out of them because you're forcing it to them, but they're not doing it with any genuine interest. They're doing it to
mm,
keep a job and keep getting paid. Who wants to work in an environment like that? And why would you want to manage people like that? Unless you're a
mm.
bad person, right? So
True.
what I'm really saying is that deep inside of us, we want to be
Mhm.
loved. We want to be
Yeah.
thought. We want to be cared for. We want to be supported. And we're also hardwired to reciprocate, which means that when you do that for me, when you are generous to me and caring to me, and I can feel that, I want to give back to you instantly. I want to go, thank you for this. I want to, well, how can I help you? And it's like, meet your goals. Fine, I'll meet my goals and I'll do even better for you. So we think that it's soft to care about people when if you're holding them accountable for performance and being caring, there's no other way to get extraordinary performance out of people because when you care about them in the way that I'm describing in the whole book,
Mm.
you are setting people up for optimal performance. So I'm trying to get people to understand that the more caring you are, the more supportive you are, the more safe you make people feel, the greater the performance you're going to get as a return.
Wow. Inspiring. Right. So, Mark, thank you very much for
Very
taking
welcome.
time and doing this podcast with us. And best wishes and our best wishes for your book, The Power of Employee Wellbeing, to be another bestseller.
Thank you. You're a very lovely person, Watson. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.